What's up, guys? This is former Springbok and Rugby World Cup winner Brian Havana. You're watching Gareth Mason on Walking Tall with G-Man.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today's video is World Cup topic, obviously, because we're less than 2 weeks away, almost hitting that 1 week margin until the greatest rugby tournament in the world. It is going to be absolutely awesome. So much to look forward to, from the events, from the atmosphere, from the build-up to the moments, to, I don't know, it's going to be absolutely awesome, and I can't wait. So today's topic, I thought I'd go 5 potential upsets that could happen in this World Cup. Now, I know I've done it something similar before, but it seems we're getting close. I wanted to update it a bit more on what could possibly happen in this World Cup, because what we've seen from teams changing from world number 1 to world number 4 and 5, I mean, we've seen 3 number 1s. Anything could potentially happen in this World Cup. We've all got an idea of who we think is going to be top of the logs. We all have an idea who's going to be in the quarterfinals, the semi-finals, and even the finals. And some even have an idea of who's going to win the World Cup. But in those lineups, we've seen, in Rugby World Cup histories, we've seen incredible upsets. Japan. We've seen New Zealand get knocked out in 2007. We've seen South Africa obviously make history in 95, 2007 as well. We've seen England be the first Northern Hemisphere team to win. There's been special moments of World Cup histories that we'll always remember, but there's also those upsets that we'll remember as well. And I want to just circulate 5 of the top to predict of what could actually happen in this Rugby World Cup as we approach this tournament, which is going to be awesome. Now, first and foremost, I'm going to target Japan. Now, they're definitely a team that we can't count out, because they've beat South Africa before. But why I'm calling them as well is because they definitely showed heart within the game. Then they dominated the Pacific Cup. And then we can't forget the game against England, where they were actually leading in the first half. They're a team that have really developed into something special and unique, and one thing's for sure, we cannot count them out. So a potential quarter-final for Japan is not impossible. They've got the home crowd and the advantage. They've got the conditions, which could either be rainy as hell because of the typhoon, or hot as hell because it's the heat up there. I mean, the Springboks, I saw training videos of them just down in water because they're trying to get used to it. And we saw the game against Japan. It was bloody hot. So they got conditions. They got crowds. They got the experience of playing there to their advantage. So for me, definite. We can't count them out. They're definitely a possible upset that could take place in the World Cup. And if we see them in a quarterfinal, I would really be too shocked unless they're not the number 1 team in the group. But I really feel that they have an opportunity. But if we look at the past history of how teams like last World Cup have got kicked out, home teams have got kicked out of their World Cup spot, or couldn't even make it in their group. England, for example, and there are a few other host nations that haven't made it. So there is also that little bit to look out for. But again, we can't count them out. They're a team that will definitely want to achieve something and to shock the world. Second point, South Africa beating New Zealand in the group stage. Now, before everyone goes, whoa, let's not jump to conclusions, it can happen. South Africa have been a dominant force against New Zealand. We beat them. We drew against them. We beat them last year. We lost to them by 1 point. Ever since 57-0, we've been competitive with the All Blacks and have been playing pretty strong rugby. And the competitive level between these two teams is absolutely amazing. Hence why I say it's not impossible to beat the All Blacks. We've done it this year already, so why not again in the Rugby World Cup? And then we flash back in memory to 2007, when England were obviously world champions from 2003. Everyone was watching England. Everyone was saying South Africa are in the group stage with the world champions. They're going to get knocked out. We beat them 36-0 in the group stage, which everyone said we were going to lose. And then we met them in the final and won the Rugby World Cup. Similar instance here. We've got the world champions in our group. Playing them first, could maybe beat them in the World Cup final and become champs. You never know. Anything is possible. But that's just another upset that could happen. And when I thought back at the whole history of 12 years, then I thought back to a champion in our group, beating them again. It's happened before, can happen again. Nothing is impossible. So that's definitely another possible upset that could take place. Third, France reach the semi-final. Now, there's so much talk in that pool of death because you've got England, you've got Argentina, you've got France. Three magnificent rugby teams. Now, everyone's talking England, France because of experience, but then people often forget about Argentina and their success in the World Cup. They've gotten to a semi-final. They have gotten to stages. They didn't do too badly in Super Rugby where their provincial team got to the final. The other provincial team whooped the Currie Cup second division. So we can't count out Argentina. However, because France have been on such poor form, we are often forgetting what they can achieve. Their history in a World Cup. They've knocked out the All Blacks before. They've been to the final with the All Blacks. They have done things that other teams not quite have done. So, therefore, they can't be forgotten and can definitely shock the world. And we can't write them off because anything can happen and they can reach the semi-final. So, that's another thing to look forward or to look out for is France could shock us and get to the semi-finals. Point number 4. Australia reaching the final again. Now everyone's going, whoa, keepers, they are the worst, or probably the unformed team in the World Cup. But it's happened before. Can happen again. They were finalists in 2015. Not many people giving them hope of the World Cup. But Australia seemed to be picking up picking up all the bits and pieces right before the World Cup, where they picked up some victories. Yes, Samoa's game wasn't too hot and all that stuff, but now we're in the big daddy of it. We're in the World Cup. So for me, we can't count out. And what's not stopping Australia getting their pool, meeting England and beating them, or New Zealand, whoever it may be, getting to that final. It can happen, and that's one thing we can't forget or miss out on is the history of what Australia have done in Rugby World Cup, be it form or not. They still can achieve something special, and that's something we can't forget. So if Australia reach a final, potential upset, ladies and gents. And then last but not least, a possible all Northern Hemisphere final for the first time in World Rugby history. How the hell does that happen, you say? Well, Wales and England, Ireland. Ireland are going to meet South Africa or New Zealand in the quarterfinals. They move on to the next level. Win that game, we could potentially see an all Northern Hemisphere final. Wales top their log, go through. England battle it out. Obviously, two of the northern teams are going to clash in the semis, but anything is possible. We cannot write these teams off. We cannot take away what they've achieved and how we've seen them go up and down in the World Rugby rankings. Wales were number 1. Ireland are number 1. England are number 2. It can happen. It can happen. And that's like story number 3. England are number 3. But it can happen. And that's something we cannot forget and look past. Yes, we're going in confidence if you're in Southern Hemisphere supporter. But don't forget the level of improvement and quality of rugby that we've seen in the North in these past 4 years. So that is definitely a potential upset that could happen. And why I say an upset is because, obviously, Southern Hemisphere teams have always been in the final. But if it's not, it's a damn upset. It's going to be a shock to the world. So those are my 5 potential upsets for the Rugby World Cup. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Always curious to hear your thoughts and suggestions. It's going to do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys real soon for another video. So much more to come. Rugby World Cup is around the corner. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you soon for another. Stay safe and never give up. Cheers.
Subscribe to his channel for more rugby content. You won't regret it. Stay safe and never give up. Cheers.